fellow babies, welcome back to the Pachter Factor on SIFTD.net. We hope you are watching as a Patreon patron. Thank you so much if you are. Shane needs to keep the lights on, so dig deep. If you can afford an extra $1 a week to watch Pachter Factor, thanks, we really appreciate it. If you're watching on YouTube, thank you. I could use some Twitter follows as a payback, at Michael Pachter. I'm trying to get over 45,000. I've been at 44.8 for like 6 months, and I just can't crack it. If I get to 50,000, boy, I'll have a party and you're all invited. All right, let's move on to questions. This week, our first question from Patreon, from Kip. You say you mainly use Switch in portable mode, and most game journalists say the same. I think it's because you travel a lot. Yeah, that's true, actually. But of the 3 people I know who have Switches, they always use them docked like consoles. If I had one, that's what I would do too. Do you think Nintendo would release a screenless Switch for a lower price? How much cheaper would it be? That's a good question. And the answer, I mean, honestly, I've got like a single TV where I play games. And for me to put the docking station in that room, it just requires me to move a bunch of crap around. So my docking station is not attached to a television. I mean, I just have it as a charger. I could attach it to a TV, but if I did, it would be to a different room. And so that's the main reason. I'm just lazy, and I've got a configuration that doesn't make sense. I think your question, suggests that Nintendo is actually enlightened about, doing something that would be good for consumers, and I don't think they think that way. I think they want to delight consumers. I don't think they want to sacrifice profit. I agree with you. I mean, if you made the Switch completely screenless, if you put all the guts of the device into the docking station, you could absolutely release that thing for $100 cheaper. I mean, for sure. You get rid of the device itself, and you would just sell the Joy-Con, as a controller. That's a really great idea. If you do that, you lose the concept of the word switch. You can't switch. So I think Nintendo would view that as blasphemy, would view that as you're no longer able to switch, therefore that's not what this is, it's just a console. But I totally agree with you that that is a really compelling option. They should do it. My guess is $100 cheaper. So I think that would make sense. They would make money. Everything would be fine. Obviously nothing to break if you have the console. Like I do kind of worry about dropping the Switch, cracking the case. It doesn't have a cover the way my phone does. My phone, if I drop it, this thing's pretty powerful. This one is even more powerful. I'm all about charges, as you know. So good idea. I don't think it's happening, but good idea. $100 cheaper. Our next question from Patreon, from Lennart Grabowski. What a great name. Hey, Pac, I'm working on my master's thesis on economics of blockchain at the moment. All right, you are smarter than me, so why you're asking me a question, I don't know, but okay, let's go. Do you think blockchain technology will become relevant for gaming? Yes. Could decentralized gaming become a thing, such as CryptoKitties? Yes. With Counter-Strike Go skins trading for thousands of dollars, do you think items could be tokenized? Yes. So here's the thing. I think crypto is a mechanism, blockchain is a mechanism to having a universal wallet in games. And I think that's really smart. So I think that if there was a way for me to spend money in Candy Crush and then maybe spend money in League of Legends and it comes out of the same wallet, that's a good thing. If when I win gold in Candy Crush, and you can, I mean, there's ways to get gold. If I could put it into my portable wallet and even take it and play, in Candy Crush Soda instead of Candy Crush Saga, that would be beneficial. That would make a gamer feel better about buying gold, using gold. And so, one of the things I think, if you look at gold purchases in games, it tends to be, that let's just say you spend 10 cents for a gold bar if you buy up to $25 worth, then it's 7.5 cents if you buy $100 worth. The price goes down. Maybe it's 5 cents if you buy $200 worth. They have these volume discounts, but you're not going to spend $200 in Candy Crush if you're not going to buy $200 worth of stuff. And same with League of Legends, the same with Counter-Strike Go. And so if you make that portable, I spend $200, but I can pull it out and the gold is universal and I can spend it elsewhere, that would work. The problem is that requires coordination of all the guys who have created these different economies in different games, and there'd have to be a universal currency. So crypto is the right answer. Just to use Bitcoin, and just because I know what Bitcoin costs. If they could take Bitcoin at $8,000 today and say, you know, 1/8,000th of that is going to be a unit of currency, $1, that would totally work. And the thing that's cool about crypto is demand would go up, the supply of crypto doesn't go up, and therefore, you know, you'd have the currency would have more value. You'd be more likely to buy the currency because you have a chance that it appreciates. I mean, I actually think it's kind of a brilliant idea. But again, it requires cooperation among publishers and developers. Not likely. And that, I appreciate that you're getting a master's in econ, so you're, as I said, clearly smarter than me. I have taken many courses in econ. I think I took 5 in college, and maybe another 3 or 4 in my MBA program. And it fascinates me. I love econ, but you know more than me. So I think the part that might really make sense for your master's thesis is to talk about how to create a market. And the way you create a market is you need all these willing participants. I think the gamers are willing participants, absolutely. And I think gamers would prefer a wallet, but you've got to get the vendors to cooperate to create the market. And I don't know that you're going to get cooperation there. So it's a really, really great question. I just learned about a company called Robot Cash that is going to form kind of a download service for PC games, allow people to trade in PC games, which is not permitted by the publishers. So they need publisher buy-in and developer buy-in for that. And the point of the trade-in is you're not going to get that much on your trade-in. You're going to get 25% of what you were able to sell it for, and the publisher is going to get 70, and these guys are going to keep 5. It's a pretty smart model if it works. But they want to use blockchain. They want to have universal currency. They want to have you buy your games on their site, sell them for their cryptocurrency, use their cryptocurrency to buy other games on their site or elsewhere, spend money in the games. So they're really trying to build this up. I think it's really smart. Robot, C-A-C-H-E. Our next question from SIFTD from AW08. I was wondering why we don't see more publishers finance their own indie game development programs like EA and Ubisoft do. The games that come out of their initiatives are little gems that share the virtues of these companies as a whole. They could fill the gaps between big releases. Well, Take-Two just announced it, private division. So, and actually EA isn't doing it as much. They used to have EA partners, and they've kind of backed off of that. And I think Take-Two's filling the void. Yeah, good question. I personally think that variety is great. I think people like playing small games. I shouldn't say EA doesn't do it. They've got Faye coming out. Yeah, Faye coming out is maybe a $20 game, I think. And Way Out's 30, right? So those are indie games for sure. Those are indie games. So I shouldn't have said that. Yeah, Faye I think is 20, and it's that kind of game. And A Way Out is 30. Microsoft's doing it. Obviously, Sony did it in a big way when Adam Boyes was there. I think they maybe have de-emphasized that, but I'm not positive. But yeah, I agree. Look, indie games are awesome, and they're bite-sized, fun experiences. I mean, my favorite, I think, of all time was Flower, which I think from start to finish, I played for an hour and 15 minutes. I was like crying when it ended because I wanted to keep going. It was so beautiful. So yeah, I think there's tons and tons and tons of appetite for that kind of stuff. Unfortunately, none of them really makes that much money. They're few and far between where you get a game that sells like PUBG did, which is an indie game. That doesn't happen that often. So the real reason they don't do it is because there's just no money in it. The console makers do it because you're right, they're filling in gaps and they get you loyal to the system, and it's a way for them to say they have a lot of exclusives. So, I think I agree with you. I think it's important. The reason publishers don't do it is they don't make enough money. Okay, our last question this week from Twitter from @CrowCouncil. God, what a good question. How do you maintain work-life video game balance? I'm laughing because this is so kind. You are an accomplished professional. Speak lovingly of my family. I really do love my family, by the way. And you guys, family is all you got. At the end of the day, you got nothing else. You can only take pride in how good a job you do with your family and yourself. So be a good person and raise good people. And still have time to play Fallout, not anymore. Has it changed depending on the stage of your life, career? Big fan of your various shows. Okay, I think that's a brilliant question, and I don't have good work-life game balance. Games have suffered for me lately. I make a joke, but it's the truth. Fallout 3, my wife called that fucking game, and then when I started playing Fallout 4, my wife called it that fucking game. And so when I met Todd Howard's wife, she said something about how, you know, she wanted to meet my wife because she'd watched one of these shows, and I said something nice about her. And I said, well, you realize my wife calls your husband's work that fucking game. So, you know, it's not, my wife, I can't explain it. My wife hates video games. And she doesn't hate the people who play them, not at all. And she doesn't hate the game. She hates that they take up my time. So your question is brilliant. I mean, it's work-life balance. My wife can't stand it if I'm playing games because I'm not doing it with her. And it is the rare couple like Cliff and Lauren Blazinski who actually play together, you know, and that's fun. And I tried to get my wife to play Portal co-op with me because I thought she would like it. And she's just like, in fairness, I mean, she just was like, I don't even know what I'm supposed to do. Like, she tried, and she's just like, I don't get this game. And I realized, like, one of the reasons I like Portal is how my brain works. Like, I like the whole puzzle solving and trying to figure out, like, I like Candy Crush for that reason, because I like to try to figure out, like, how do you beat this level? And I found myself staring at the level. Like, one of my mobile favorites, Dots. Play 2 Dots. Play that game. Fun game. But the puzzle aspect of it is really, really fun. My wife doesn't like that shit. So, games have suffered. Work life. Look at me. Okay, so look at me. I'm chubby because I obviously eat too much. I'm wearing a t-shirt. You notice I'm sitting here with a laptop in front of me with my free Logitech Gamer Series. I love this thing, by the way. The G900. I freaking love this. And I have it wired just because I don't really care about the wire. I don't move it that far. I love that mouse. I've got, I'm all about Logitech, by the way. I use the MX Master on my Alienware computer. The reason I have 2 PCs here is because I work here. This is my home office. This is my work phone. This is how I talk all day long. And I use a wired headset and this phone in a docking station. And when I talk on the phone, I literally go like this to make sure that people can hear me, and they never know I'm even at home or on a cell phone. It's crystal clear. I bought a something called a AirRave, AIRAV. It's a little, I could show you, but it's a little box that attaches to my internet router, and it's made by Sprint, who is my service provider, and it boosts my signal in the house 5 bars all the time, crystal clear, every place in my house, and all the way out to the middle of the street. So anybody who has a Sprint phone, it doesn't matter, not even my family. Perfect signal in my house because I live, someday we should actually show you the view outside. I live right next to the water, which means I'm in a terrible cell neighborhood. The reason I'm telling you all that is I work from home. So work-life balance, I used to work at the Wedbush building in LA. That is 31 miles from here. We have a morning call that commences at 4:15. I started working at Wedbush in 1999. I didn't live in this house then. I lived 2 miles from here. 31-mile commute. In order for me to be at my desk with my PC booted up at 4:15, I had to get there by 4:10. I'm sorry, 4:10, which means 31 miles. If I left after 3:40, I didn't make it. Now, in fairness, at 3:40 a.m., there's no traffic. But, you know, I would have to leave the house. I would typically leave at 3:35, so I'd get there around 4:05, and that's about when I got in. And I'd be booted up, and I'd dial into the morning call, and I'd talk, and I'd do all that stuff. And then I normally would finish my day around 4, and I would sit in traffic for, depends on the time. If I left, it's funny in LA traffic. You leave at 5 minutes to 4, every once in a while, a 45-minute commute home. Almost always an hour. And then every once in a while longer if it's raining. If I left at 5 after 4, oh my God, it would be an hour and a half every single time. So 4 o'clock is kind of quitting time for a lot of LA people because of long commutes. So my day, I would have to get up at 3 to get out the door at 3:35, and I would get home typically at 5 o'clock. So my day was 3 o'clock to 5 o'clock, 14-hour day. Now, 4:15 morning call, I sleep until 3:52. I make a pot of coffee. Every night I restart my computer, so all the Microsoft updates and shit happen before I go to bed. So when I open it up, it is on, and then all I have to do is hit Control-Alt-Delete and log onto the VPN and open up all my stuff. So what I literally do is I sit down in the morning, I do all that, I go down and make a pot of coffee, and then I come back and I read emails for 10 minutes or so, go down and get my cup of coffee, and then I dial into the morning call. So I'm now sleeping 52 minutes more per day. I then finish at 4, kind of the same time, and I'm home. I walk out at 4 o'clock, I walk out of this desk, and I'm home. So I'm home an hour more, I sleep 50 minutes more, which means I go to bed 50 minutes later than I was before. So I have an hour and 50 minutes, which happens to be exactly what my commute was, of being at home. And the nice thing is, my wife doesn't work. My wife's home. During the day, we talk. I go down and get more coffee. I feed the dogs every morning. My dogs love me more. My dogs come and say hi to me all the time. So just working from home, my work-life balance has improved dramatically. That's it for this week's Pachter Factor. Hope you're watching on SIFTD.net and you're a patron on Patreon. If so, thank you so much. Shane needs the money, so please dig deep. You know, $1 or $2 a week for Pachter Factor is worth it. And if you can afford it, please support because he needs it. If you are watching on YouTube, welcome. We intend to make this available to everybody for free. What I ask in exchange is do an FF, follow Friday for me on Twitter, and follow me on Twitter at Michael Pachter. I think we're not going to take any more questions on Twitter unless the people follow me. Is that fair?
That's fair.
Yeah, I doubt that we get very many questions from people who don't follow me, but follow me on Twitter. I mean, I promise I won't offend you. I'll be nice. Anyway, thanks for joining us, and we will see you next week.